The Rosie and Bill Show wish to thank our partners and Positivity primary sponsors.
The Roselli Agency, based in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Brian and his team of insurance professionals have been serving the needs of Chester County for more than 2 decades.
The Mallon Agency, located in Springfield, PA, where they take pride in tailoring the right insurance policy for the right client and exceeding expectations every time.
She started laughing at me when I told her I was a George Strait junkie. Hey, that's a fine-looking lady. She can't be my baby. She don't even like country.
Welcome, everyone, to the Rosie and Bill Show. Our guest this week comes from 4 generations of cowboys and singers, and he was just named one of country music's artists to watch in 2023. Please welcome to the Rosie and Bill Show, rancher, roper, farrier, and fantastic singer, Chad Bushnell. Chad, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this. So
we're glad to meet you. And my first question is, I heard that you started playing the guitar and doing music at the age of 4. And I want to know, Chad, what took you so long?
It took me so long. Yeah, no, I was my dad played guitar and sang a lot in church and different things. And so I was always really into it at a, really young age. And so finally I was into it so much when I was 4 at the end of one of the cowboy church sessions, my, the worship leader pulled me aside and gave me my first guitar lesson. So I was 4, just right there after church. And so, yeah, so that's how that happened. Yeah.
That's so sweet. What do you mean your cowboy church session?
Yeah, so they've done cowboy church around where I'm at for years, and we did it at the auction yard when I was little, and my dad was a part of it, and there's a pastor that's now lives in Texas, Dave Simmons, and it was a pretty, there was probably 60, 80 people there or so at the auction yard. We do it in the sale barn, and it was mostly ranchers, farmers, and of course my dad was a farrier growing up, and so that's what we did cowboy church at the sale barn at the auction yard. So yeah.
I love that. That actually sounds like more fun.
It was great. Yeah, good music too. If it's country gospel music. So
right.
Chad, did you know at that young age that this was something, or when did you realize that music was something that you really wanted to pursue?
Yeah, ever since I was little, I really pretty much always knew this is what I wanted to do, and for as far as I could get with it, and I've always, I wanted to go to college. I did all that, and I got married. That was another part of what I wanted to do, be close to my family. But yeah, I've always wanted to have a music career ever since I was a young boy. So yeah.
You're actively working on the ranch and you're pursuing your career. Do you find it challenging to keep both of those balls in the air?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's just trying to keep a tight schedule. I have to have a calendar. I have 2 calendars, so I'm always, keeping track of what I'm doing. But yeah, the shoeing horses and all that, I keep a pretty tight schedule, and everybody I work for is pretty understanding. They know what I do, and I've had customers I've had for 8 to 10 years now, ever since college, and it works great with my schedule, and I'm able to go off and do my shows. And so,
how do you think the lifestyle, living on a ranch and all the hard work you've done through the years, in addition to the music, how do you think that type of life has helped shape you as a person and as an artist?
Yeah, it's definitely humbling, shoeing horses and working on the ranch. It's hard work, and I sometimes still work with my dad once in a while, and so it's great, really, and it helps with my songs. Sometimes after I'm shoeing horses, or it inspires me to write songs, and being out on that ranch lifestyle, really, it's so.
As you were saying that, shoeing horses, my grandfather, my mother's dad, was a blacksmith back in the day.
Oh, wow.
When Bill was, when Bill and I were discussing having you on the show, I said, well, I want to know what's the difference between a blacksmith and a farrier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a blacksmith more just works with iron and make stuff. You know, my dad does a little bit of that. He makes really nice door handles. He makes barbecue tools, and he's kind of gotten into more of that, you know, kind of part of his retirement plan. And then more of farrier is more of the farrier science and the study of the anatomy of the horse, you know, putting shoes on their hooves to protect their hooves. And that's a whole nother side of it. But it's good to know, should know how to be a blacksmith if you're a farrier. But really knowing how to shoe, you know, it's a skill. And I grew up around my dad doing it and other farriers. And once I graduated high school, you know, I got a little more serious, and I was just under tons of horses every day, you know, along with trying to pursue my music. And that's kind of how I learned.
Chad, talking about your music, one of the things that I found really interesting is there's been quite a bit written about your music. And there were two things that really stood out to me. And one was how you cross a threshold between Christian and country music. And the other was how you can thread the needle between traditional and modern country. So I was thinking about all of that together, and you were just talking about writing songs. When you sit down to write a song, does any of that cross your mind, or do you just get to writing and see how things turn out?
Yeah, no, it does. You know, I've had a kind of strong Christian, you know, country gospel background because, you know, along with my dad performing in cowboy church when I was little, and, you know, being a part of that, my great grandma, she was a big part of, you know, my life, and she played and sang at church. And so I was singing at church with her when I was young. And so a lot of times when I'm sitting down and writing, and when I'm in Nashville, a lot of the, you know, the Christian country gospel roots kind of are influenced in my writing. That's, you know, I like to put that in my music. And then of course the traditional meets the modern thing. You know, I've kind of, you know, a traditional country singer naturally, you know, that's just kind of what I sing, you know, and where I meet with the modern is kind of that red dirt Texas country thing. You know, I don't know if you pay attention to that too much, but that's a big thing right now. And working with Aaron Watson and his guys, that's who's been producing a lot of my music. It kind of meets with that traditional, you know, music that I throw in there. And then of course, what they bring to the table. I love working with Nate because Nate Kuhn is Aaron Watson's drummer and producer. Aaron Watson, he's gotten pretty big the last few years. And so I kind of like what he brings to the table along with my traditional, you know, aspect of it.
Chad, you've been performing for now a very long time. How would you say that you've grown as a singer and a songwriter?
I think just, you know, performing so much, just getting more comfortable on stage and really focusing on, you know, being able to put on a show is what I've, you know, always been working towards, and just trying to get my show better and better all the time. And, you know, that's what really, I know through college. I mean, we performed a ton. I played, you know, every bar I could get into, every kind of small event, and just getting that experience. You know, it's kind of, you get to a point where you don't really focus, like you don't really think about like, okay, how am I going to sing? How you kind of get up there, and it's more about the show. And that's what, yeah, I think that's where I've really evolved, hopefully, you know, lately. So
do you still get nervous?
I do a little bit. You know, I'm doing my first big show in my hometown Saturday. I am a little nervous, but I'm excited too, because it's called the Historic State Theater, and it's the biggest place to play where we're at. And I've opened for everybody. I've got to open for Clint Black, Josh Turner, all these people there. And so finally, after, you know, years of performing there, I decided I want to do my own show. And it's been a job. I've been doing a lot of it myself, and working with the State Theater. And so, yeah, I'm a little nervous. It's been a lot of work put into it. So now I got to actually perform on Saturday. And so, but it's an excited kind of nervous. So
that is exciting.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you also, Chad, about your latest single. But before I do, I just wanted to explain that I've got my Brooks and Dunn t-shirt on because it's related to my favorite line, and she don't even like country. You know, it's just, you know, anyway, I just put that on for you because I was playing that earlier today and said, oh, I got to wear that t-shirt.
Well, thank you.
But when it comes to your latest single, Fallen in Love with You, what inspired that song, and how's it been received thus far? It came out about a month or so ago.
Yeah, no, I was, you know, a lot of times well, for this particular album that's coming out in March, which we're going to get ready to announce. I guess I just announced it. Anyway, I was kind of looking for songs to write. You know, I needed, like, I already had a whiskey drinking song. I had some other different, so I really wanted a strong love song. And so I just made myself sit down and write this. And one of my favorite albums from the last, 15, 20 years is that Josh Turner Firecracker album. That was big when I was in high school and in college. And, so I'm like, man, I really liked like almost every song off that album. And I'm a big Josh Turner fan. so I sat down and kind of with that album in mind, some of the songs, I just started writing and it just sort of came to me.
Is your wife ever a muse for your songwriting?
Yeah, she really liked that song. She was impressed by it, and she's usually pretty honest because she writes as well. She's a totally different thing, but she writes the teenage fantasy, I guess is what you call it, kind of like the fantasy books. Her and her sisters, they're starting their own publishing company. So she kind of between her and then my mom too. I play them for them, and they're usually pretty honest with me. Because my wife, her being a writer, she'll tell me, and plus my mom, she kind of helps manage some of my stuff, so she's honest, and so I get to hear it from them before I sing it live for other people.
Well, that's great. That's good that you can run that by them. Now, Country Evolution voted you one of the top music artists to watch in 2023. What was that like for you to hear that news?
It was great. It's good to, it's like I said, a lot of artists. I saw some of the other artists on there, like the Olsen brothers. They're from up in kind of southern Washington, I guess, and I've done shows with them, and I know that it's a grind, so it's good to get some that recognition. Sometimes it's cool, it keeps you inspired, and I know they work really hard at what they do. They're touring as much as I am and writing songs every day, those guys, and so yeah, it's great. I was really blessed to hear that. So
now, Chad, we know that there could potentially be, at least we heard a rumor, maybe an album in March or something like that of next year, but I don't know if we can say that yet. So I'll just say it's a rumor. But other than that, what can your fans look for in 2023 while you're one of those artists to watch?
Man, a lot of cool shows have already came about. We're going to already start announcing them. Some more theater shows, some wineries, which we really like. My band, our whole crew, we like wine and and beer and all that, so anytime we get booked at wineries, we're always really excited. And we're playing at the Nazier Vineyards, which is in kind of central California. We're playing at Rancho Vista, some of those wineries. There'll be a lot of really cool shows next year. Of course, a music video for my next single, Whiskey to Work, will be coming out probably in late February, March, right before the album. So I'm looking forward to the music video, and really just a lot of shows, music videos, albums, some release parties. So I hope to get to see fans. Yeah, we're going to be doing a bunch of release parties, and especially February, March, April. So I want fans to keep a lookout for that. Yeah.
Chad, how involved are you in the writing or production of your music videos?
Man, so I'm lucky. I'm good friends with the guy, my buddy Julian Mendoza. He's with Average Joe's Entertainment in Nashville, and so he's going to be doing the music video, and him and I are going to collaborate. But he does a lot of the big music. He does music videos for Colt Ford, Cooper Allen, a lot of big stars, and so I'm looking forward to working with him on this next video, and because I've worked on them with different people, and this is actually my first official one with Julian, so I'm really excited.
Wow, that really is exciting. And Chad, one thing I have to say, and it's coming out even in this conversation that we're having right now, and it's that you really are genuine. And I'm wondering, how important is it to you to be true to who and what you are, and how do you manage to do it? I mean, you're the real deal.
Well, it's everything to me. I think that's the biggest part of it. That's what I want, my image, just to be a kind of humble, country singer that actually does real cowboy work, and I want to have strong in my faith, and I kind of want to keep that. That's what I think that's what my fans like, because there's tons of, as you guys know, there's tons of people out there that can sing and play, and so you got to really find your niche, and I think that's what keeps you growing, keeps me growing, and of course I got a sister that keeps me pretty humble too. Just to watch him die. Now when I hear that lonesome whistle, I hang my head and cry. So.
Older,
yeah, we understand she's quite an athlete too, right?
Younger, yeah, she's an athlete. She's a kind of full-time in the rodeo business, and she works. She's a trick roper, and she ropes and travels and works with the company that travels a lot, and so yeah.
What made you go into the direction you went and not into the rodeo?
Well, I think it was pretty obvious, in my high school days that I wasn't going to be a world champion. And, I loved it. I competed as a team roper and steer wrestler, and I loved it. But kind of after, high school, college days, I just kind of knew. And my sister, she was always the one that she won 2-time state champion in high school, and she went on to do really well in college and in the women's pro. And so I just enjoy watching her, and music's just always been my thing. You know, that's just what I've always loved. I love going to concerts too when I'm not doing my own concerts. And so just
did you and your wife meet when you were performing? How did you two meet?
Yeah, great question. We were so a guy in town, his name's JB, but he's a good friend of mine. He does a lot in the community and he's involved in everything. And so he invited me to play for his mother-in-law's birthday party at this small little, hall. I guess I can't think of what they call it, but some, like an Elks Lodge thing. And there's probably 60, 80 people there. And every once in a while, I don't do this for everybody, but he wants me to dress in my Elvis suit and do some Elvis. And so I don't always do that, but if someone like at a private party requests it, I'll do it. And it's kind of funny. It's more of a funny thing. And so he mentioned, he's all, hey, it's part of the deal. And I want to introduce you to my niece at some point too. Well, of course, the whole time I'm sound checking, I'm looking for his niece. I had no idea what she looked like or anything. And so I was hoping to meet her before the show. Well, she didn't show up until I was already in my Elvis suit. That's the first time she saw me. I was up there in my Elvis suit and doing my Elvis thing, and she walks in, and I was barely able to get into them. They were about ready to rip. They were so tight. And so that's where I first saw her, and we got our picture together, and we went on our first date to Starbucks, and then just went from there. So
wait a minute, did she fall in love with Elvis or Chad?
I don't know, because her family's huge Elvis fans. So whatever. I mean, I think it worked good.
Can you get a sample, Chad? Can we get a little sample?
A little sample? Oh man, I need to go practice and find my Elvis suit. I might have to get another size bigger. So that's been a few years ago.
It's funny you say that, because I this summer I took a trip down to Graceland because Heather and I are big fans as well. So was he an influence of yours? Yeah,
of course. No, Elvis is awesome. And it just seems like people, I don't know what it is, they like to hear me sing Elvis at my shows. I don't think I really do it justice, but I do enjoy it. Like when I get up there, I love singing like the traditional Elvis songs. I mean, it's just,
wow. What's your favorite song to sing?
Probably Burning Love. That's always been my.
Oh wow.
I like doing Suspicious Minds if I have a really good band behind me that can, but Burning Love's always I play it every show. I love doing it. So yeah.
That's tremendous. Well, Chad, we thank you for coming and talking to us, and we wish you all the best with the new music you have coming out. You're really talented, and we look forward to seeing how things pan out for you. I'm sure, you are a rising star, and we look forward to seeing what you've got coming up in your future.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to have me on here. This has been great.
Definitely. And folks, we thank you for tuning in, and we're going to end the show with a song from Chad. See you next week.
Jacked up, four-wheel drive, Ford truck with chrome on the tires, pretty little thing sitting next to me. She asked if she could grab the wheel, take it for a spin out in the hills, rev it up and go at full speed. I said, I don't let just anyone, but girl, go ahead, let's have us some fun. You can drive my truck anywhere that you want to. You can drive my truck way back in the woods, cruise on a dirt road, middle of the country, anywhere you think you should. And if you feel like you want, you can take it out mud and go a little crazy. And if we get stuck, we'll get in the backseat and make love. You can drive my truck. Take the back road at the edge of town. We can cruise it with the windows down, rev it up past the city limit sign. Wait stop next overpass. We can use another tank of gas. Let's fill her up and grab us some cold light. Turn up the music from the country radio. Come on. a truck way back in the woods. Cruise on a dirt road, middle of the country. And if you feel like you want, you can take it out low.